White sand beaches, cascading waterfalls, turquoise waters, and something more. Magic. Welcome to Siquijor, a small island tucked in the heart of the Visayas. For centuries, the island has been a place of mystery, home to healers and stories of witches who practice rituals deep within the forests. Locals still speak of the Tikbalang, a trickster spirit that led travelers astray, looping them through the jungle no matter where they would go. Life here moves slower. Waterfalls hide deep in the jungle, and sometimes it feels like the island itself decides where you end up. I came chasing adventure, but what I found was a world far wilder and far more mysterious than I ever expected. I decided to spend a few days exploring this mysterious island, and getting there was a journey in itself. I took a flight from Manila to Dumaguete, then a quick 10-minute taxi ride to the ferry terminal. They gave me an entire 3-row van all to myself. Apparently Siquijor had heard I was coming, and they rolled out the royal treatment. After wandering around the ferry terminal, I eventually bought a 15 peso ticket. Then, I boarded a ferry for an hour-and-a-half ride across rocky waters. When I finally arrived at Siquijor's tiny port, rows of red tuk-tuks, these cute motorized tricycles, lined the street, ready to whisk travelers away across the small island. I hopped in one for the last stretch, a 20-minute ride to my hostel in San Juan, where I could finally settle in and rest before diving into the adventures ahead. I stayed at Monkey Business Hostel, a bamboo-lined spot tucked just off the main road. It had all the charm you'd expect from a laid-back island stay, plus one very special roommate.
So this guy has been my frenemy for the last week. That is a giant spider. I think he is beautiful and terrifying at the same time.
After quickly making peace with my 8-legged neighbor, it's time to get out and start exploring.
It's 6 a.m. and I'm on Siquijor. I was going to try to catch sunrise at the beach, but obviously the sun has risen. I'm a little bit late, but I'm still earlier than everyone else because no one likes to wake up this early.
Hey. Still, I was excited to get on the road and start exploring. I had my pink motorbike and a full tank of gas. I figured I'd head to the beach, but in true Siquijor fashion, the island had other plans for me.
So I was heading to the beach to get some nice shots because the lighting's nice for sunrise, but I got distracted by these guys. Oh my god, you guys are so cute!
Honestly, worth it.
Sweethearts. Oh, you guys are so young.
Eventually, I made it to Paliton Beach, my first real glimpse of this beautiful island. At this hour, it was peaceful and completely empty. The light was soft, the tide was low, and it felt like the whole island was still waking up. It was the perfect start. From there, I rode to one of the island's most famous landmarks, the old enchanted Balete Tree. I arrived early, and the place was almost completely empty, save for a couple stray dogs. The tree is said to be over 400 years old, and many believe it's home to mystical creatures like the duende or the tikbalang. At the base of its massive roots is a spring-fed pool where fish nibble at your feet, a kind of natural pedicure. I spent a while here, relaxing by the water, weaving through the twisted roots of the mysterious tree, and trying not to scream while fish sneak attacked my toes.
Jesus Christ, don't eat my foot. Ah, no.
Afterwards, I rode deeper into the island to one of its most iconic spots, Cambugahay Falls. The water here is impossibly blue, and the falls cascade down in layers, something like out of a jungle dream. Rope swings hang across the pools, and narrow paths let you climb higher and higher, discovering new waterfalls tucked into the trees. I spent the afternoon jumping off rocks, swinging into the water, and soaking the sun. There's something about this place. It doesn't just look like a postcard, it feels like one. Afterwards, I decided to go to Lugnason Falls, a 40-minute ride from Cambugahay. It felt like I'd slipped even deeper into the forest. Compared to Cambugahay, the spot was quieter. Fewer tourists, fewer distractions, but it had the same sense of peace and a rope swing, of course. After playing in waterfalls, I set out to find the spot I'd marked on my map, Secret Beach. I made a few random friends along the way, and together we decided to try our luck. The road there was barely a road at all. We bounced over rocky trails, weaved through forest paths, and dodged potholes the size of craters. Our first stop was a cliffside, steep rock staircase. But it led to a rocky beach that didn't quite feel right. And then we found another trail, marked with giant no entry signs. But we snuck in anyway. At one point, a pack of stray dogs started following us. The whole thing felt less like a beach day and more like a side quest. But eventually, after plenty of wrong turns, we found it. A quiet, secluded beach that felt wild and untouched, like the kind of place the island only lets you find if it wants you to. On the ride back, I saw a line of motor taxis pulled over and heard music spilling to the street. So I stopped. A beach bar. A live band. I didn't stay long, but I'm glad I didn't miss it. The next day started slow. Sunrise, followed by Tupsilog breakfast to reset. I popped back onto my bike and I decided to explore more inland.
So I'm on Mount Bandilaan. I'm at the nature park. And I'm trying to find the observation tower because apparently you can hike up and have the tallest view in all the area. But of course, I'm lost. So we are going to venture through riding through the mountain, trying to find it.
Eventually, I found the start of a trail with a concrete stairs that led up to the tower. An old structure with 4 flights of stairs and a panoramic view of the island's vast green forest. After spending some time here, I popped over to Salagdoong Beach to catch sunset. The beach was crowded, but I made some doggy friends and I grabbed a halo-halo while I waited for the sun to go down. The beach eventually cleared out, and the views and the sunset were spectacular. It was one of my last days on the island, and I had set out on a different kind of adventure. One I wasn't actually sure that I'd find. I'd heard whispers about a mysterious people who live deep in the hills. So I'm driving out in the mountains of Siquijor. Siquijor is known to be a mystical island that has healers, and at some point in time they said there were witches here as well. And I'm just driving around hoping to find a healer. So fingers crossed, we'll see what I find today. I spent the afternoon winding through mountain roads, following a dot on my map, searching for any sign that might lead me to her, and keeping myself entertained along the way. The Lion King was in my head non-stop as I rode through the jungle. Eventually, tucked into the hills, I found her, Wakina, a local mananambal. I spent time with her while she read my energy, whispered prayers, and used herbal remedies to pass through generations.
I just wrapped up at the healer. Her name was Wakina. She was really lovely. She started off with kind of checking my pulse, seeming to like get a feel for me, and then she started rubbing this kind of oil with herbs like all over my body. She started my back, helping to relieve some tension. It's almost like a little bit of a massage. She told me that my spine was a little curved, so she was trying to work on that a little bit. I came with a couple intentions. I've been having joint pain in my fingers for several years. She had done work on my body where she was kind of working with my fingers, hitting almost like different pressure points in them. And so I feel less stiffness in my fingers. And then she also went through to align my chakras. So that part of the process I was laying down for. There's some aspects that were a little painful in a sense, where she was working on my body, where she said things maybe weren't quite aligned. She also gave me some herbs. So I'm gonna bring those. I'm gonna try them out in teas over the next few weeks, and we'll see how those kind of detox teas make me feel. But yeah, overall positive experience. I don't know, it's nice to have this kind of unique experience here in the Philippines, and it makes me feel like I did something for myself. So yeah, we'll see.
After visiting the healer, I planned to catch sunset at Paliton Beach, a ride that should have taken 40 minutes, but somehow it took over an hour and a half. The GPS kept rerouting, and no matter what turn I took, I ended up in the same place. At one fork in the road, a group of children ran up to me asking where I was going. I said, Paliton Beach, and they pointed towards one road, but it only led me back to where I'd started. I couldn't help but wonder if I was being led astray by the Tikbalang. Eventually, I made it to the beach, just after the sun had gone down. But I couldn't shake the feeling, like the island had taken me the long way on purpose. Maybe it was to say goodbye to these two again. Or maybe it was something more. Siquijor surprised me. I came looking for waterfalls and quiet beaches, but I left with something I didn't know I needed. A sense of stillness, a little bit of magic, and a reminder that sometimes getting lost is exactly the point.